my friend and I, Keith, he sent me a video of a popular YouTuber reacting to the good and bad sides of AI, and I haven't watched it yet. And he was like, dude, I know you talk about this all the time. It finally clicked for me why AI is so good. I'm like, okay, so why don't we just come on and I'll watch it, I'll react to it, then you and I can talk about it.
Artificial intelligence.
The benefits vastly outweigh the risks. This will be the greatest technology humanity has yet developed.
So do you want to introduce yourself, Keith? So we've known each other for how long? Like 1,000 years?
We have been, it's 2023, right? So yeah. I believe it's been, I met you in 2011. So 12 years now?
12 years.
12 years. Yeah,
crazy.
It's been quite a journey.
And we met through a mutual friend, Kevin, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So Kevin, shout out Kevin.
Yeah.
This could have been you, Kevin. This could have been you.
Make better decisions, Kevin. Make better decisions.
But so we were talking, and you were telling me about this video that you saw about AI, and I got this YouTube channel where I talk about this stuff sometimes. And then why did you send it to me? Like, what was the thing that pinged you to send it over to me?
Well, I know you've been doing the YouTube thing for a little while now, and something not even just YouTube aside, but I know you're big into AI, you're big into computers, you're big into self-driving, obviously with the Tesla technology, we'll call it innovative technologies, robotics, so on and so forth, right? So I thought this would be right up your alley. This is someone I follow on YouTube called Cleo Abrams. She does a thing called Huge If True, which is basically optimistic science, stories or things that humanity is working on. That's not doom and gloom, which is nice, obviously, in this day and age.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then so the thought process here is, so I was gonna watch it, and then we were talking about the video, and then I don't know how we ended up here, but I think I may have suggested how about we just do it on the channel, because it might be cool for like people to come on the journey with the discovery process, right? Because it's like I'm kind of familiar with the space. You're somebody who's like learning about it, right? So it'd be cool to kind of talk about it together. Was that the thought process, if I remember correctly?
No, absolutely. It's cool because it explains it in layman's terms for people like myself who is not, don't
lie now.
No, you're not quite as integrated into the AI, ecosystem as you are, right? So
sure, cool. So then, so the thought process here is I'll start playing the video, and then we'll just I'm sure it'll turn into a discussion, right? Because it'll be like one of those things. And then so anytime you want me to pause, let me know, and I'll pause too, and I can just pause the video if you wanted to like interject or something.
Yeah, sure.
How does that sound? Okay.
Sounds great.
And then we'll see where it goes. All right, I have no fucking idea what's going to happen, so I'm just going to
It's going to be a disaster.
All right, fuck it. Let's go.
Time to talk about AI.
Can you hear that, by the way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, all right, good. Here we go.
Time to talk about AI. Right now, we're in this weird moment where lots of smart people agree that we're on the cusp of this truly world-changing technology. But some of them seem to be saying it's going to kill us all, while others are saying it's more profound than fire.
I've always thought of AI as the most profound technology.
Okay, Where are you on that spectrum?
I was actually going to ask you the exact same question, because if I know you are more of the fire type. Like, Farzad Misbahi is more profound than fire. We will be ruled by our AI overlords by next year. It's going to happen. That's guaranteed, right? I'm a little more reserved in that. Like, obviously, look, fire is fire. First of all, we didn't invent fire; it's a thing. But more so, I don't think you can top fire. With that said, I really
fire is the GOAT.
Yeah, fire is the GOAT. Come on, fire is like Babe Ruth, Michael Jordan. You're not beating fire, right? but I do think that AI could be that in time if we get out of our own way as a species. I'm much more optimistic, and just the pure potential of AI. Again, assuming that we don't screw it up too badly.
Yeah. So my thing was, so it's weird for me because it changes, right? So for me, it's like one day I feel that the displacement of jobs from AI is going to be really big and hard to overcome. And then another piece of me says, well, the reason why you're doing this YouTube thing in the first place is because the computer and the internet came, which made millions of jobs obsolete, but then it enabled you to be home to make a living.
Yeah, no,
so it's like,
I agree.
You know,
I do think that it's going to make a number of jobs extinct. But you know what? Cars made wagon wheel people extinct, right?
Exactly.
I mean, it's just going to be a natural shift. I mean, there's not going to be a lot of like mundane jobs in 20 or 30 years, I don't think. You know, because you can have AI, you automate it in 30 seconds. But there might be some kind of like drone fleet operator job or whatever. So I just think that people not smarter than myself are going to figure out ways to just evolve the work landscape. Yeah,
no, I agree. And I think like the important thing with this thing is that we have to be careful that it doesn't become something that's dangerous. Because I am in the camp, fire is the GOAT right now, but
it also burns shit down. I mean, look at California or Canada, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But I really do feel like AI has the chance. It's like it's 10 times crazier than the internet, I think.
It's the internet on steroids, right? It's taking the internet and being like, look what we can do.
Exactly. Centralize the brain, and then the internet's like the nervous system. Like the AI is the brain of the internet, you know?
No, I agree. And just before that even happens, I'm more concerned about, like, I mean, we could talk about this all day, but like things like societal impacts. Like, for instance, you know what the biggest job in America is?
Truck driver, right?
Yeah. Truck driver. And guess what? I think there's some kind of, company called Tesla that is bringing all sorts of self-driving technology, which is based off of AI, right?
Yep.
So what happens when Tesla, sells Walmart some AI, self-driving technology, and they no longer need truck drivers?
Yeah. So exactly. And that's, anyway, let me keep playing the thing, because we could talk for 2 hours. So this is going great so far, honestly. It's fun. All right, here we go.
More profound than fire or electricity.
It's clear at this point that something big is happening. But my problem is, it's all just so vague. I want to know, how specifically would AI kill me? Or how would it dramatically transform my life for the better?
By the way, shout out to the production of this video.
Yeah, she's
very, really good production. And I like the lighting too, the backlighting. Like, this is the kind of shit I'm looking for now as a YouTuber, dude. You probably don't even, like, why are you even talking about this? But you see like that glow behind her, dude? Like the separation
specifically would
that she
AI
has
kill
against
me?
the background.
Or how would it dramatically...
That's like, anyway, great. Good job, Cleo. Chloe? What's her name? Cleo?
Cleo.
Yeah,
it's Cleo, I think.
I think it's Cleo.
Yeah.
All right. Here we go.
Transform my life for the better.
Stop stealing my video. All right, here we go.
Specifically, would AI kill me? Or how would it dramatically transform my life for the better? In this video, that's what I'm going to try to figure out. What the most extreme, bad, and good possible futures with AI actually look like, so that you and I can get ready. And more importantly, so that we can be a part of making sure that our real future goes right.
Artificial intelligence.
The benefits vastly outweigh the risks.
Eventually, they will completely outthink their makers.
AI could be.
Have you ever seen Ex Machina, by the way?
I feel like I did when I was like 9.
No, I don't think it's been out for that long. It's this scene right here. It was this scene. Where is it at? It was this guy. Anyway, it's probably going to be hard to find. But it's the one. It's a great movie. That's iRobot.
I did see iRobot. iRobot, underrated movie.
I agree.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like a more realistic Terminator
or Matrix, where in reality, it's not the machines that are the bad people, it's the people.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. All right.
They outthink their makers.
AI could begin to kill humans.
AI has the potential to change society.
A lot of people can be replaced by this technology.
Is this depressing? I don't see why it should be.
This will be the greatest technology humanity has yet developed.
To understand why you're seeing so many mind-blowing AI tools all of a sudden, you need to understand how they actually work. And to do that, we need to play some chess. This isn't one of those, oh my god, AI beats a person kind of games. In this game, neither of the players are human. One is a famous chess engine, a system programmed by humans with insanely complex rules for how to play the game.
we were talking about this briefly when we spoke a couple of days ago, right?
Yeah.
That Stockfish program. Did you know that if Magnus Carlsen, Hikaru Nakamura, shout out all these guys, if they, as if they watch me.
Yeah, number one viewer.
Yeah, one viewer. So if this is how dominant these computers are, if they were to play Stockfish 1 million times, they would lose 1 million times.
Yeah, because they're scrubs. Magnus.
They're scrubs.
Yeah, absolutely. Stockfish.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, let me go ahead and play this.
The other is using a very different strategy, and that second player absolutely crushed the first.
It had learned the game without any of those rules. It just watched enough games to see what winning looked like.
That is Eric Schmidt, former CEO of Google and chairman of its parent company, Alphabet. Yeah, he was chairman of the company when they created that second player, AlphaZero.
Before that moment, all of the game playing was done algorithmically. Move here, evaluate this, do the math that.
But that's not how AlphaZero worked.
It didn't understand the principles of what a rook and a pawn and so forth and so on. It just knew how to play because it had observed enough games and it learned how to win.
In other words, our best systems had gone from using human-given rules to win to using observation to win.
So you can think of that as moving from algorithms to learning. That to me was a major, major deal.
This ability to learn changed everything. It's what makes incredible tools like ChatGPT possible today. You now know this technique as
machine learning.
The reason that it suddenly feels like AI.
So we were talking about this briefly too. Is like how familiar were you with that concept before you watched this video?
I mean, admittedly, probably more familiar than your average person. I actually do love this stuff. But again, like we talked about a little bit, I love it broken down in layman's terms as far as like, you know, it's no longer algorithms, it's observation, which I thought was a really good way of putting it, to be honest. Because you know that you learn by observing, but what does that mean, right? And that's kind of what really helped me with this video. Like give me examples. What, you know, how exactly does that happen? Because it's easy to say from like a 10,000 foot level, but to really kind of understand examples and see it in real life is what really turned the corner for me.
Yeah. What's another way of like that I think about it is it's no different than a kid. So like you have kids. You have young kids that are learning the world and each of them are at a different stage of learning, right? You have one that's more advanced, one that's middle, and then the other one's like brand new. It's like he's trying to figure out how not to shit his pants, right? So it's like
still hasn't figured that out. Still hasn't figured that out.
He'll get there, but
it's coming in a couple of years.
Yeah,
probably, maybe.
So these learning models, these machine learning models, they work exactly the same way. It's like imagine it just being a human brain that is equipped to focus on one thing that is trying to learn by observing. And each machine learning model is sort of optimized to solve for that, if that makes any sense.
I would agree with that to an extent. Here's why I would push back a little bit there, is that here, like if you look at, so I got you're 5, 3, and 1, right? So my 1-year-old is his understanding of the world is multiplying every 2 weeks or whatever, right? Like, I mean, just massive sponge of information, learning things so rapidly. Whereas my 5-year-old obviously has a little more understanding of the way the world works. So it might not be every 2 weeks. It might be every 6 months that they multiply their understanding. Mm-hmm. Whereas I don't think that there's going to be a ceiling with AI. Like I think it's going to be a 1-year-old in perpetuity. Like that 1-year-old is learning, you know, every 2 months forever. Like there's not going to be a point where like, oh, I know so much now, so I'm going to stop and slow down a little bit. I think
it's crazier than that. It's a 1-year-old that's getting better at learning faster each day.
Exactly.
So it's like if like a child coming out of the womb is like the greatest, sort of fastest, most insane sponge in the world, that's AI at some point, and then it will continue getting better.
Yes.
You know?
But that 5-year-old, like we said, that 5-year-old isn't slowing down because they've learned stuff and they're trying to hone and focus what they know. No. They're still that 1-year-old. They're just like, give it everything to me, which is
give me everything faster.
Exactly. And
forever.
I'm learning how to recognize patterns faster. I'm learning how to grow faster. So yeah.
Exactly. And it's limited by how much compute power you have, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it's basically humans without the laziness as we get older.
Humans without the laziness and without the whole degeneration thing that happens.
Yeah, without that. I mean, they're not drinking on a Tuesday night.
Oh, by the way, cheers, bro. What the hell?
Cheers, boss. Hold on a second.
Refill.
Unforgivable. I'm not going to choose an empty glass. I gotta.
Farzad Misbahi after dark.
Oh man. Yeah.
All right, here we go. Cheers. Awesome. Cheers. Here we go. All right, let's see what else Cleo has to say here.
AI is everywhere is because of the incredible success of machine learning specifically. At a basic level, the idea is that instead of giving a computer a rigid set of rules that says, if this happens, then these are the possible outcomes, instead you give a computer a set of inputs and outputs and allow it to create the rules that turn one into the other. Meaning that it might come up with rules that we didn't think of, or maybe don't even understand. But making the AI models that can do all of the incredible things that you see now just recently became possible. And it's because the computers training them have gotten way more powerful. Look at this graph. So you see it going.
So before we get into that, did I tell you how? So like, if I use the self-driving car example, did we talk about how? Well, I mean, I'll just say it anyway because this is the show, I guess. I'm so bad at this. You would think I was doing this for a while.
First video.
Yeah, first video. So that's how the self-driving program is working with the Tesla. Is that instead of them saying, like, literally kind of what they were typing-ish is, if stop sign, then stop. If left turning lane open and car not in front and car not on the left and blah, 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 like all these conditions, then it would make a decision. Now what they're doing is they have these models where they feed it pictures and video of what's going on in the real world. And then they're feeding it to this machine, and then the machine is basically exactly what it's doing. It's learning, so it's seeing the car, the surrounding of the car behaving a certain way, and then you're giving it a goal. You're saying get from here to there, but do so following these rules of the road, which is don't speed, always listen to the human, don't go over the yellow line, so on and so forth, right?
Like and then stop sign, they see cars like stopping at the stop sign and then going, or stopping at the red light and then going.
You know what? I think I'm incorrect in saying that though, because I think it learns that the yellow line is you shouldn't go over it. They don't explicitly say under that scenario, you're not telling the machine yellow line, don't cross. You're showing it a yellow line, and then you're showing it that the cars are never going over the yellow lines, and then it will learn that you shouldn't go over the yellow line. And it does that for everything.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's interesting though, because does it, again, with my red light example, does it just learn that once it's red, you have to stop, and then green go, and then the stop sign, you stop and then go, and
Correct. Yeah. Exactly right. So it's like
algorithms there where it'd be like stop sign here, then go. That's
correct.
The opposite. So it's now the alpha instead of the starfish. Originally it's the starfish, now it's the alpha to the chest.
Correct. Yeah. You got it. Exactly. And so that's how they're teaching the system how to drive. It's like they're just showing the real world examples. And they're also doing that now. That the one big shift that they're taking is for the controls, like the actual steering wheel turn and the go fast and the slow, like the accelerator and the brake, they are allowing the system to learn how to handle itself, instead of saying, once you approach this intersection based on the decision you want to make, then they have code that says, okay, this means turn the wheel left. But now they're allowing the car to actually learn on its own how to turn the steering wheel left, or how to.
Say they're phasing out the algorithmic part, and
correct.
Yeah. So over time, it's going to become less and less algorithmic and more observational. Is that what we're
exactly saying? End to end, from what the car sees to how the car reacts with physical inputs. Just that the AI will learn how to do all those things. Yeah, it's freaking wild. It's like awesome, I don't understand it. It's crazy.
It's amazing. Fucking amazing.
Oh my god! All right.
Because the computers training them have gotten way more powerful. Look at this graph. So you see it going up, and then around 2009, the computing power behind AI models just begins to explode. That change is largely thanks to a switch in the physical technology used to do that training, going from CPUs to GPUs. My favorite way to show the difference between CPUs and GPUs is this Mythbusters demo back in 2009. That robot right there represents a CPU, and it shoots paint in these little sequential bursts. It can get the job done, but it's slow. And this robot represents a GPU, so instead of shooting paint one little bit at a time, it can shoot in parallel. Basically, the physical tools behind AI are extremely powerful now.
And what's crazy is that now NVIDIA is coming out, I think it's called the H1, which is, let me just verify that. NVIDIA H1.
I know that they've come out with the cutting edge chip for AI right now.
That's exactly right. The H100. So NVIDIA now has a chip that's specifically tailored for AI compute. So you're going to have another step change where you're going to go from that bot to this bot. And now this new bot is even better at processing information for AI. Which is like, it's insane. It's completely crazy. Yeah. All right, here we go.
And they're getting even more powerful fast. According to OpenAI, the amount of computing power used in the largest AI models has been doubling every 3 months. This is why you're seeing now AI is able to pass the bar exam, make more realistic images, answer more complex questions. It's why this particular type of AI technology is both so promising and so scary. But before we get to that, you all often ask me questions about how I write my videos.
No.
Add
support her channel on her video. Somebody go buy her stuff.
Sorry for that.
Artificial intelligence may kill us first.
The risk that could lead to the extinction of humans.
AI is a fundamental existential risk for human civilization.
How do we know we can keep control?
So we have this technology that can learn, and it's learning fast. And so, of course, in large part thanks to Hollywood, we imagine that it'll learn to kill us.
The CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer.
But as much as these systems appear...
Dude, did you ever have those soundboards? Did you ever play with those soundboards when you were younger, like for video games? There was ever hear of Ventrilo? You ever hear of the program Ventrilo?
I think so. Yeah.
It's like a voice chat program.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then there were these people that with soundboards that would go on and like troll people. And there's this one. Okay, I have to send you the link. There's like a series of pranks where this guy has a Arnold Schwarzenegger freaking soundboard, and then he goes on, and he goes on random people's voice channels, and then he trolls them with the soundboard, and that was one of the lines that he would use. My brain is a neural net computer, or whatever it was. Dude, it's hilarious. Awesome. It's so funny.
Solid Arnold impression there.
Yeah, it's
you can kill it.
Yeah, it's not the greatest. All right, I tried. I need more wine.
To kill us.
The CPU is a neural net processor, a learning computer.
But as much as these systems appear to be human, they're not. Why would they want to kill us? They don't want anything. And yet, Bill Gates, Sam Altman, and hundreds of other tech leaders recently signed a 22-word statement that shocked me. I'll just read it to you. Mitigating the risk of extinction from AI should be a global priority alongside other societal scale risks such as pandemics and nuclear war. That is an incredible statement.
I would not put pandemics on that list. Nuclear war and AI, absolutely. Pandemics, I mean, people will die, but it's not. I don't think that's an extinction level unless you want to go straight Last of Us or something. But I mean, by and large, I think that I would put AI. I would think that there's a non-zero risk along with nuclear war with AI taking us out. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, there was this one article that you know Waybot Y. You ever hear of Waybot Y? It's like a blog.
No.
The guy's name is, oh my God, why am I blanking on his name? I literally have his book that I haven't finished yet. Okay, this is bad. I'll remember his name. But he had a blog from years ago where he outlined sort of the danger of AI. Mm-hmm. And the example he gave was this machine that's optimized, and we're talking about this, but this one's like, it was optimized to be the greatest paperclip machine maker in the world. All right. Like its task was make as many paper clips as you can. And there was no safety mechanism that said, oh, by the way, don't use the raw materials and the atoms from humans to make the paper clips. And then this thing figured out how to literally turn every piece of matter into the material necessary to make paper clips. And then the end result is this machine that's taking over the entire universe that's just making paper clips.
Actually, I think to your point, it was a similar situation. I read an example where it was collecting carbon for like global warming or something like that, right? So, but collecting carbon, but there was no safety net to stop it from taking carbon from humans because obviously we are made of carbon. Yeah. So just like give it to me, and we're like, oh wait, don't do that. And then that's the end of humanity.
And I think the other example you gave too was oh, we need to stop global warming. Oh, what is one of the causes for global warming potentially? Oh, it's humans. Okay, goodbye humans. Yeah. It's like, okay, problem solved. That's it.
There we go. It's nothing for it's efficiency, right?
Effective. That's for damn sure. Yeah. Crazy. All right.
Development of AI is in the same realm of risk and importance as destruction by nuclear war. To better understand why they feel this way, I turned to this survey. This is the same one that's been widely reported as half of AI researchers give AI a 10% chance of causing human extinction. The specific question that they were asked is, what probability do you put on human inability to control future advanced AI systems causing human extinction? So what's going on here? Well, the surveyors summarized an argument for why AI might be so dangerous by saying it's essentially the old story of the genie in the lamp, or the sorcerer's apprentice, or King Midas. You get exactly what you ask for, not what you want. Imagine this. In the future, someone creates a powerful machine learning system and gives it the desired output of a very accurate climate prediction. Then the AI, using its self-created rules, figures out that the more computing hardware it can use, the more accurate its prediction will be. Then it figures out that by releasing a biological weapon, there would be fewer humans taking up the valuable computing hardware that it needs. So that's what it does. And then it gives its climate prediction to no one left. This is the category of thing that the researchers mean when they say a system optimizing a function of n variables will often set the remaining unconstrained variables to extreme values. Yeah. In other words, it might optimize for what we tell it to do at the expense of other things that we care about.
So how scary is that? Because you think about what are all the possible, like literally take that statement and like think about it just like in real world terms. What are the possible solutions that we would put to AI to solve? And how many of them could open up the door for a catastrophic event?
Well, you know what my mind automatically goes to? I'm a sucker for, like the Ukraine war, for instance, and things of that nature. And one of the things that you see time and time again, one of the big takeaways that history will take away from this war is the mass use of drones. Okay. And what better way to do mass uses of drones and mass uses of, cyber technology and so on than with AI? So because we are who we are as a society and as a species, I honestly believe that you're going to have your Lockheed Martins, you're going to have your Boeings. And what do they want to do? They want to outcompete either another country or their competitors. And how do you do that? With AI. So then you're going to have AI controlling weapon systems, which I think is an awful idea, because you can have something like a flash, like how like you have the stock market where you have a flash crash because the algorithms on the stock market, briefly there's a blip and something was missed and it just very briefly crashes and then goes back up. I could see something like that if we have AI overlooking all of our weapon systems. Maybe they see something they perceive to be a ballistic missile or a nuclear warhead or something, and then react, instantly, and then all of a sudden you have a flash war or something along those lines. So I think those are the risks. Because that's, to answer your question, I think that's my biggest fear, is that we give AI, weapon systems access. And I just think that opens up a Pandora's box that nothing good could come out of in the long
run. It would be too hard. It would be such a difficult ask to ask a government not to do that, right?
Oh no, it's inevitable. I'll give you an example. So I had this professor in college, loved him, smart guy, obviously. He's a professor in college. Dr. Osborne. Shout out Dr. Oz. Anyway, I'm sure he's watching. But one of the things that I will never forget that he taught the class one time is that morals have never gotten in the way of science, ever. I mean, if you look in the 1950s, it was playing God if someone was on like a ventilator, right? Now it's just whatever. Sure. That's it. It was birth control was playing God. IVF was playing God. Whatever. When something cool or innovative comes out, inevitably there'll be some group, some dumbass group is like, that's playing God. That's not our place. And then 20 years later, it's normal. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. I mean, this stuff is already happening. We've already got drones. We've already got things of this nature. So that's my fear. We have to find a way to harness that. And I don't believe that as a society, particularly our dumbass government, where, we have senators that are, what's the average age, like 80 years old? They're asking like Mark Zuckerberg why he doesn't like regulate the iPhone. I don't have a lot of confidence that they can understand the complexities and intricacies enough to even understand what AI is, not to mention, control it. So that's a fear of mine. What do you?
Yeah, I mean I'm right there with you. I think the implications. So even in a very benign scenario, like you described, the war one is like super. It's like yeah, this is bad. Like if we're basically, we're basically saying you are a country with a ton of compute power. You're a country with a ton of weapon systems, and you will obviously use every tool imaginable to protect yourself and to advance what the country's long-term goals are by using whatever tools necessary to make that happen, right? So asking somebody not to do that is insane. Like which is kind of sucks, because then
it's literally play to win the game, right? Like the purpose of a war is to win said war.
and it's so much more sneaky than a nuclear weapon, right? Because all of us after World War II, all the countries agreed that said no more nuclear weapon usage. We will never drop a nuclear bomb ever again. And so far, seems like people are like, we've agreed, and it's even with the Russia-Ukraine war, it's still, it's iffy, but it seems like we're still okay. But the point is that even though we're succeeding with nuclear weapons so far, AI is so sneaky, because you can use AI behind the scenes to take down infrastructure or to mess with the economy of a country, or do
a huge one.
Whatever, right?
Yeah. Manipulate media.
Exactly.
To your point, critical infrastructure. If you think that our critical infrastructure is cyberproof, you would be wrong.
But then the thing is, on the other side, there's going to be countries that will be using AI to protect themselves. So it's we're at the point.
What's the difference between protecting yourself and an attack?
That's my point.
Yeah.
My point is that the technology is too powerful and so sneaky that there's no reason why anyone wouldn't use it. And and I think Elon Musk has talked about this in the past, where we're going to be in a situation where it's just AI wars in the future. Like right now it's drones, and then in the future it's just AI. It's the US AI versus the China AI versus the Europe AI versus the India AI. It's like, it's crazy. And then these AIs will fight the wars, and then humans do what exactly at that point? We'll just let the AI, like, that who really runs the world at that point? You know what I'm saying? So it's like such a weird path.
Yeah, but in the end, there's always going to be boots on the ground. There's always going to be soldiers fighting, I think.
I don't think so.
It might be the end. It might be literally, when
I think what it might be. I think what it might be is like this is a potential like positive scenario for AI, where it's still going to be a thing where humans will use to protect and attack other countries, but it's the AIs are so advanced that they'll just, they'll just continually fight each other.
Underestimate like human narcissism and greed, man. Like there's always going to be a Vladimir Putin or somebody like that, who just believes they are God's gift and that they are going to take over the world. And unfortunately,
there'll be a person that would use AI for that. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
there will be a person that will try to use it.
Your AI is only as good as the hands that unleash it.
No, incorrect. Your AI is just as good as how much compute power you have, because the AI will just make decisions.
Well, that's true. You still have to give it a start and finish. You still have to say, hey, do this. Now in our current.
Yeah, but how hard is it to make the prompt? I want to dominate the world. Okay, here you go.
Exactly. But how many people would do that, right? Like there's only a handful of people that are like, I want to literally subjugate everyone. Like that's not well, that's a lie. There's a lot of people that would do that. But I would like to believe that there's not that many people. I mean,
but it gets weird though, because like depending who has access to that, it all comes out to compute power. Like who has access to the compute power? Who has access to the H100s of the future, where they can direct a prompt to that server farm to create the results that they're looking for in a scenario where that server farm with all the hardware isn't already tuned to prevent humans from doing something like that.
But again, if I'm a Lockheed Martin or or Hawaii over in China, right? It doesn't matter if I'm
Hawaii.
Not to Hawaii. Yeah. Hawaii. Did I pronounce it
Hawaii?
Correctly?
Like the islands?
No. HUAWEI.
Oh, Huawei.
Huawei. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm like Hawaii.
No. Yeah. The great Chinese tech company of Hawaii.
Oh, shout out Hawaii.
Yeah,
I have some people that watch me from Hawaii. They'll like this.
Oh, Hawaii, take it. Yeah, join China. We see you, Hawaii.
Halfway across, basically.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. We're halfway there, baby.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. You're talking about Hawaii.
I'm never gonna live that one down. Well, but regardless,
you tried.
I mean, even if they did say, hey, we have these guards, so to speak, it doesn't matter, right? They can just take them off. There's nothing to stop them from going into the code and be like, just kidding.
No, but that's incorrect. Why would you think that? The AI is going to be smart enough to protect itself at some point.
I don't know. I mean, at the end, I would still think that the creators would have the keys to the castle to make certain demands. I don't know why we would take that away unless the AI just completely locks us out, which is, I guess, is possible. But
yeah, this is so weird, right? Like, what the hell? This is so weird. Yeah. Because even in GPT-4's like ChatGPT situation, there's clearly keys that the owners have put in place that influence some of their responses, and they can go in and do whatever they want.
If I'm the CEO of Lockheed Martin, I'm going to want to be able to dictate some of that core code regardless and kind of block that out. I would think. I would think it would be very ill-advised, even if you're the most narcissistic, selfish person on earth. I think it'd be very ill-advised not to have at least a couple core components that the AI is blocked off, where they can't get to it, or at least not easily, unless you just completely outsmart us. Because if not,
right, but so we're gonna have a situation where we either have the most powerful person in the world controlling that, or the AI is 100% self-sufficient. Those are the two outcomes for this thing, right? You either have a person that has so much power that they can literally hack the AI, quote unquote, or you're going to have an AI that will be able to make its own decisions.
I mean, think of it right now. I mean, all the not to get too far down the rabbit hole here, but you've got something like 4 or 5 tech titans in California that basically have more GDP than Europe.
Yeah.
I mean,
take that, Europe.
Suck it, Europe. What?
That's what you get for having beautiful countries and freaking incredible food.
Yeah, what's Big Ben doing now? Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Big Ben, more like freaking what? I don't have a joke. All right, let's keep going here. Otherwise, we'll be here until like literally midnight. Here we go.
You get exactly what you ask for, not what you want. The truth are things that we use. In other words, it might optimize for what we tell it to do at the expense of other things that we care about. You get exactly what you ask for, not what you want. The term that researchers use for this is specification gaming, and 82% of the researchers surveyed agreed that it was an important or the most important problem in AI today. Specification gaming leading to disaster becomes less likely if we work to contain AI systems, and we don't let them get connected to tools that might physically harm humans, like don't give them the nuclear codes.
But how likely is that?
Oh, I mean, I just talked about what we talked about before. I think it's very unlikely. Like, I think like a medical AI. I mean, think about it. If I'm a medical AI, I'm trying to cure cancer. There's a good chance I come across a biological weapon or something. You know what I mean? Because I'm using chemo to try to cure cancer, right?
Interesting.
If I am over a drone army from Lockheed Martin, guess what? I mean, I might not have the nuclear codes, but do I need the nuclear codes? No, I don't. If I've got access to every ballistic missile in the freaking U.S. arsenal, right? I mean,
yeah, crazy.
I'm not optimistic about the humans' ability not to screw ourselves here, to be honest.
Yeah.
That might physically harm humans, like don't give them the nuclear codes. But how likely is anything like this to actually happen? I honestly don't know. And I think neither does anyone, which is a big reason why all of those tech CEOs signed that letter, and why you might have heard people advocating for a pause on AI development.
So what I'm getting from this whole movement is that this is literally just people trying to get the conversation started.
Yeah, I think that's part of it, but it's also learning the pros and the cons and at least being somewhat educated about what we're talking about. Because if you took your average person today, just some dude on the street, right? And you ask them, what do you know about AI? I would wager to say that conversation would be not much.
Sure. 100%.
Yeah. Or, oh, that's like computer stuff. Like, I mean, who knows? But I think that, before you can have an intelligent argument or discussion, I think you have to be able to know what you're discussing. And I think that's what this video does very well.
Yeah, I agree. Have you noticed, so when you talk to people, like, do you feel, because you're a very social guy, you're an extrovert, you love going out and meeting people and talking to people. How often does this come up, this topic?
Not often. I would think that, because I'm in IT, as you know, and so the most this comes up is with like ChatGPT and stuff like that. But I think that's just a very, very tiniest tip of the iceberg, right? Yeah. I'm not even sure some people would understand that's AI. They're just like, oh, look at this cool, Google on roids kind of thing, right? Like when you're sitting at a bar or you're going out to meet friends, you're not talking about AI. Like it's just not a thing.
Yeah.
Now maybe I just don't hang out with those kind of people or those kind of crews, but
they're all in Silicon Valley.
yeah, they're all hanging out. They're
planning the future.
Oh yeah, the Palo Alto, hot spots or whatever. Yeah.
Okay. I was curious because it's the same with me. I feel like it's just, it's kind of like, oh, that's crazy. It's like, yeah, GPT-4 is awesome. Do you know what Midjourney is? Have you ever heard of Midjourney?
I've not.
Yeah. So that's like a image creation AI that's on Discord.
Well, I mean, there's a number of tools, and I think that there's going to be more and more tools. And I think it might be something like, remember when cell phones first came out, where the first couple of years you had like 4,000 carriers and they all had a different charger or whatever. And they all had different things. Yeah. And then railroads back in the day were the same way. Like they all had different rail types and all different,
width, right? How separate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then eventually the market consolidates, they eat each other, Pac-Man style. And then you get, so I could see like whoever the creator Chat GPT and then whatever image one or whatever, I could see them consolidating to where you get something like an iPhone AI bot where it just kind of does everything. And that's when you're going to start getting like your Jarvises of the world, like straight out of Iron Man, right?
Yeah. Well, it seems like that's what we're like heading towards. So the big three right now are Microsoft / OpenAI / closed AI now, because they're not really open source anymore. No, so that's one. Then you have Google Bard, which is like Google's solution to that. And then there's a third one that Elon Musk is trying to start with XAI, but they're way behind. They're just starting with that.
X. Everything is X. I'm sorry.
It is. I know it's an obsession. I don't know. We should ask him. Here, let me call him. Let me get him on and ask him.
Yeah,
if he has any idea.
like, what the hell?
But it. And I was talking to Dave Lee. Dave Lee is somebody that I've had on the channel before, and he's traveling right now. And he's super he's super into this. His theory is that we will live in a world where there's going to be like 2 or 3 AI brains, to what you said. They're going to all consolidate, right? And then you're going to have basically brains for humanity. There's like 2 or 3 of them. And then we leverage those brains to do our tasks, whatever we need to do. But then that means those whatever companies or entities that are running those brains are so incredibly powerful because they can basically solve every problem.
Yeah, I mean, but here's the problem. Look, I honestly believe that if our hubris and our arrogance and just our fear as a species, our reluctance to change, were not a thing, I think we could have that in 10 years. Seriously, I think we have it in 10 years. Unfortunately, people are afraid of change. People are afraid of new things just by nature. That's just the way our brains are wired, generally speaking. Like we'll call it 85% of the population, right? So unfortunately, it's not that this technology isn't going to be there and that it couldn't vastly improve humanity beyond anything we can imagine. I think that we're going to get in our own way for the foreseeable future through lobbyists, through greed, through, laws, whatever. And eventually, like anything else, it will get through. But I just think it's going to be much slower, not because we don't have the technology, but because we're just, as a species, we're just afraid. And there's a lot of conflicts.
But isn't that slow process important to make sure we don't end up with something that will fucking kill us, though?
Maybe. I don't know. I mean,
but so how do you flip flop between? And I hate to use the word flip flop here because you're not really flip flopping. You're like I'm afraid that we're gonna do this incorrectly, but I don't know why we're keeping this from progressing to the end as quickly as possible. So like what's help me understand that?
Yeah, I can see where you could go with that. Look, I do. So let me just clarify my position here. I do believe there is a non-zero chance that we are going to wipe ourselves off the face of the planet. I do believe that. However, there are certain things, and I don't believe in a perfect world. I would, I'm kind of like, I hope, hell, we discovered nuclear warheads and our response was, oh my God, we need to get rid of this. How can we make this?
How can we use it?
Yeah. Oh, that was a cool nuke. What if we made it 1,000 times more powerful?
Make it bigger.
So I'm a realist. Like I know that AI is going to be in military equipment. I know that AI. So I don't think there's putting that genie back in the bottle at this point. I just think it is what it is. But if we put that aside, there are so many other areas of AI that are probably not going to kill us that we could put into hyperdrive. Things like building infrastructure, things like healthcare, things like solving, blue collar jobs or economics, things of that nature that we could just, move humanity light years, hundreds of years in the future in a short amount of time, again, like aging, cancer, things of that nature that I don't think we should really have restriction on. But because, Tesla's a perfect example. When Tesla came out, they were clearly better than a lot of other cars. Then you got I'm not going to name a name, but it was something like a Nissan or whatever that was clearly falling behind. Their first instinct isn't, hey, we need to innovate. Their first instinct is, let's figure out how we can use the government to
slow them down.
The works. And that's what's going to happen here. There's going to be a couple of innovators and then somebody, maybe a Microsoft. I don't think so. I think Microsoft is going to be fine, or an Amazon, or, whatever is going to fall behind. And what are they going to do? They're going to try to come up the works. They're going to, use some.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
Do you listen to the All In podcast by any chance?
No, I don't.
Okay. You like podcasts. You're a podcast guy, right? You listen to some of them?
Yeah.
All In is phenomenal. It's so good. If you get the chance to listen to it. But they talked about this where the guy that runs OpenAI, closed AI, whatever you want to call it, the one that got part of it is owned by Microsoft now. They're already trying to work with regulators This is like a summarized shitty version of what they talked about. They're already trying to work with regulators to make it so that it's extremely difficult to get new AI technology through, but they would be grandfathered in.
Yes. There you go.
How fucking crazy is that?
Crazy. it's only crazy if somebody else does it. If I do it, it's genius,
I'm good.
Right?
Yeah, because you're regulating me. Like that's the whole thing. Is like, well, you're regulating me, and that's why you can't have anybody else in because you're regulating me. Yeah, because you need to regulate me, but you can't let anybody else in.
Well, everybody else,
you have to regulate me. Yeah,
everybody else is crazy. I'm eccentric.
Yeah, exactly. So it's already happening. You're 100% right. It's already happening.
Yeah, so
they're trying to make it happen.
Unfortunately, I think that's what's going to be. So again, like I'm not afraid of the innovation. I love the innovation, but again, even with the regulations, it's not like we're regulating against harmful things. We're regulating because people are beating our ass and we got to catch up. Yeah, which is something I can't stand.
Yeah. Okay. I don't even know where we left off, but we'll keep going.
We got 4 minutes left. We got this.
We'll soldier through.
Tech CEOs signed that letter, and why you might have heard people advocating for a pause on AI development. However, there are real risks to not moving forward, too. There's a fairly large and impressive group of people now advocating for a pause on AI development. What do you think about that?
I think it's a terrible idea. And the reason is that a pause would give time for our competitors, which starts with China, to catch up. At the moment, the US is in a very strong position. We have all of the top models. We have the majority of the researchers. We have the majority of the hardware. We have the majority of the data that's being used. That's not going to be true forever, but this is a critical time for us to build this technology in American values, liberal values, not authoritarian values.
So we've created these tools that have started to become so powerful.
What do you think about the politicization of AI? Because you just politicized it, right?
Well, no, here's the problem. I'm not even talking about, I don't care about liberal values versus authoritarian values. I mean, that's the beauty's eye of the beholder there, right? Like one man's liberal is another man's,
conservative.
Authoritarian. One man's, genius is another man's woke or whatever, right?
All the liberals out here would be hardline conservatives in Europe.
100%, yeah. Bernie Sanders is a moderate in Europe. I mean, I mean, that is terrifying because the problem is that you've got something like, say, in America today, say the liberals or Democrats, whatever you want to call them, coming out with an AI tool to help whatever drive something, and then the conservatives come out with a different AI tool. Like that's a dangerous game in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. That said, I don't think there should be a pause, as we mentioned, for all the other reasons. I mean, as I said before, science does not care about morals. Morals have never gotten in the way of progress. So, I mean, we can pause. There's still going to be some lab in Singapore or Beijing or Moscow or, Pyongyang, which is going to be pumping out this stuff. So all we're doing is basically taking a breather while everybody else catches up.
And what's hilarious is like all the same people that signed the pause are all still going forward.
Oh yeah, the pause. They need the pause. We'll handle it. We're safe. Yeah.
And I think it was Elon Musk who said this. Is like when because he's one of the ones that signed it. He was like, well, I signed it because I just wanted to like have my name down in a. We should be doing this, but I just know we're not going to do it. Nobody's going to do it. But we should be doing it. I just want to be on the record saying we should have done this. Yes. Like literally openly saying like it's some bullshit document. Yeah. It's like, which then opens up the question of why even sign it. But anyway,
you guys are being reckless.
Yeah. I signed the paper.
No. I'm the beacon of morals here.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny. All right.
Values, not authoritarian values.
So we've created these tools that have started to become so powerful that we're concerned about how well they might do what we ask. And at the same time, every country, every company is incentivized to build them first with their own interests in mind. But why should we want AI in the first place? Like, what's the goal here? In my view, the most positive extreme case for AI that I've heard isn't how much better or faster it can do the mundane things that we already do. It's how it could leapfrog us.
Can I just
better or faster?
How funny it is that they blocked out the freaking logo there? So you can't see that's a Tesla.
Definitely not a Tesla.
Yeah, hilarious.
It can do the mundane things that we already do. It's how it could leapfrog us to do things that we can't. You might be wondering, how? Because of how incredibly good machine learning systems are at pattern matching, they can sometimes give us results that we can verify are correct, but we don't totally understand how it got there. It's funny, it's the same skill that scares us is the one that gives this tool such incredible potential. And if you're feeling a little bit skeptical here, that's totally fine and understandable. I was too, until I heard this example. In 2021, researchers used machine learning on a problem that had up until very recently been called, quote, one of the most important yet unresolved issues of modern science. It figured out the structure of a protein from just its amino acid building blocks. For decades, our best effort to do this has been to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars per protein to shoot X-rays at them, all in the hopes of learning just a little bit more about our own bodies.
Did you ever have in your PlayStation 3 that program that would do protein folding for you while you weren't playing?
No. Wait.
Okay.
I know what you're talking about. I did not, but I have a biology degree. So as a science nerd, genetics nerd like this, she is speaking my language right here, man.
Yeah.
I'm like,
but it's funny because it reminded me of that. Like literally they were trying to use all the idle compute from the PlayStations to fold proteins or whatever, like do that whole process. I think it was the PS3. Maybe it was the PS4. It was I think it was a PS3. Pretty sure it was a PS3.
It was one of the PSs, right? Somewhere.
It was one of the PlayStations, yeah. And which is why it's better than Xbox. Xbox is too shit to be able to fold
Xbox
proteins.
Sucks.
Trash.
Yeah, trash.
If you're an Xbox fan, unsubscribe right now. I don't care. There goes one subscriber. Oh no. But just kidding. I love all games anyway. But that's what they did is they used all the idle compute because you had all those GPUs and CPUs sitting in people's homes, and then when they weren't playing video games, the PlayStation would just crank out fold things and then send it back to the mothership. But it sounds like AI just freaking figured it out. Like we didn't need all that compute. So let me go ahead and
stick with it though. I mean, it's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
To shoot X-rays at them, all in the hopes of learning just a little bit more about our own bodies and make better medicines. This is how we got new treatments for diabetes and sickle cell disease, breast cancer, and the flu. But then, researchers fed pairs of sequences and 3D structures that we already knew into a machine learning system and allowed it to learn the patterns between them. And the result was just incredible. We now have predicted 3D structures for nearly all proteins known to science.
Crazy.
More than 200 million of them.
DeepMind's AlphaFold.
AlphaFold was.
Sorry?
I got a question.
Yeah.
I was just thinking about this, and I don't think we can answer this. This is way above my medial understanding. But
We'll ask GPT-4.
Yes, we will. They will know the answer. So we have all these different combinations. I wonder if it's possible with enough learning and observation to make proteins that don't exist yet, with the combinations that are there.
Are there proteins that don't exist?
I mean, there's got to be, or at least at the very least, ones that we haven't discovered that are not within humans, right?
One would think, right? Because if it's like what is the so help me understand exactly what is the function of a protein in this case? Like what does a protein do?
I mean, man, you gotta bring back my old bio days, right?
Okay, forget it. We'll cut this out.
No.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because what I'm trying to figure out is like how many, like what would be the benefit of finding patterns that don't exist?
Well,
would it try to like prepare us for new diseases that haven't come out yet?
Yeah.
Like for example, like COVID-1969,
or just ways that your body, doesn't produce certain proteins, or like again, like one of these is like sickle cell. They like disease therapies that can, because I believe with sickle cell, and I hope Dr. O's not watching now. He's gonna kick my ass for it. He's like, "What did I teach you? Nothing. Worthless."
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out. But basically, with sickle cell, is that the red blood cells within your blood, they are no longer, because of a protein, they turn into like a sickle, which means they cannot hold enough oxygen, which is what sickle cell anemia is. and it's basically because of a defunct protein. Same with this. I'm not a doctor. Don't comment on this, but I believe things like multiple sclerosis and Lou Gehrig's stuff like that are also defunct proteins or mess. The genetic, obviously defunct proteins and defunct, DNA, RNA, things of that nature. So if you fix, proteins or add new ones, you could potentially, obviously.
So you can prepare. You can prepare for the future. Basically, is like the takeaway here.
More or less, or not even proteins, but again, when you got like DNA and RNA, like again, there's something that came out the other day with octopus. Octopus can actually alter their RNA. Where they can survive better in colder water, and they can actually think better. And then they move that over, and they've discovered we do that to an extent too, and our brains function more efficiently.
Crazy.
And our blood pump is more efficiently, but freaking altering their RNA, which is insane. So if you can do things like that, again, maybe you could be more heat resistant, maybe you can be more cold resistant, maybe you can be cancer resistant, things of that nature. Again, not a doctor. Not giving any advice here, but it would be something along those lines.
But so the takeaway here is medicine would benefit tremendously from artificial intelligence. Like
100%.
I do agree that's insane.
Our biggest thing is that the caps on our DNA, I believe it's our DNA, get shorter as we age, and they think that is one of the causes of aging. So, if you can fix that, again. This is at the highest level, not a doctor, but the more you know about proteins, DNA, RNA, ribosomes, mitochondria, all that good stuff, the more that you can, prevent and or cure some of these things.
Makes sense. I got to go pee. I'll be back in 50 seconds.
Sure.
I'm ready when you are.
I'm ready when you are, man.
All right, here we go.
More than 200 million of them.
DeepMind's AlphaFold.
AlphaFold was able to do in a matter of days what might take years.
Solving an impossible problem in biology.
I get a little emotional just thinking about this, about how many people's lives might actually get better because of this knowledge explosion. And
do you think she actually gets emotional about this?
I get emotional about that. I mean, I'm not sure she's like crying over. She's like proteins. No,
I'm just being a dick. Yeah.
No, I know. Yeah, that's okay. I see where you're going with that. Let's go. Cut that out. No, actually, it's funny because I was thinking about something with like the proteins and genes. As you know, CRISPR, right?
Yeah.
So actually,
that's gene editing, right?
It is gene editing.
Yeah.
But the cytosine, all that good stuff, guanine, cytosine, all the 4 building blocks of DNA or whatever, they actually, a perfect example of just being able, like proteins and DNA, RNA, all that good stuff, because proteins are the building blocks of life. They did something the other day where they actually did the first genetically modified using CRISPR with salad, where they took a salad and they took mustard greens, and mustard greens are very, very healthy, but you have to cook them. So they're like bitter until you cook them. They spliced the DNA and RNA or whatever, the genes in a way where they took that bitterness out and made it taste better without cooking it. So you have this super healthy salad that tastes delicious. So
that's awesome.
Yes. So I think that would be an example of something that we don't necessarily think of, but when you have all these proteins, when you understand different combinations of what they do, what we can build with with CRISPR or something else along those lines.
It's almost like you're optimizing people's health by using AI to figure out how to give humans things that they want that are good for them.
Yeah, not only that, but it's preventative. That's part of it. But think about
that specific situation.
Well, yeah, in that specific situation, like, wow, we have something that's super healthy that people don't want to eat because it's bitter unless you cook it. What if we made it not bitter?
But that's such a clever way, right? That's such a clever way of using AI. Is like it's helping you solve a problem. It's like, hey, I would love I would love it if we figured out how to get people healthier. How would you do it? And then like, this is a perfect example of an AI would say, figure out how to make mustard greens or whatever. What is it? Mustard seeds? Mustard greens?
No, mustard greens.
Mustard greens?
Yeah.
Figure out how to make them taste good. And how would I do that? Type that in. Oh, you do it by, splicing this gene and freaking shooting an X-ray at it. And you freaking, I don't know, put it in the fridge for 10 seconds. Whatever the steps are.
No, I mean, obviously I don't know a whole lot here, but something I think would be really interesting is we've mapped the entire human genome. Like we know every gene in the human genome, which blows my mind, right? I just think we could take like young adults or prime adults versus like older individuals and map their genomes and figure out what degrades over time and what changes over time. I think that you could drastically just slow the aging process or at least gain a much bigger understanding of kind of what happens to us over time and what that looks like. And then at least get us to ask the questions, start asking the right questions as opposed to, they're going to get people with cancer and die. And that's it. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's always been. Right.
Yeah.
So that's something I find amazing. Or again, people are prone to MS or prone to, Alzheimer's or prone to, liver disease or cancer or whatever it is, right?
There's an unending number of things that AI could be helpful with from a medical perspective. Yeah.
Exactly. There's so much opportunity that my small, primitive, monkey brain cannot understand that. Like, I mean, the thing is there's so much. To me, it'd be the equivalent of us going to like George Washington or some dude like in like the 1200s or something, be like, hey, internet. It's so advanced.
True.
It's the old saying that like sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, right?
Dude, could you imagine going back to 1200 and then showing up with this thing and be like,
because they have no satellites or nothing, and be like, hey, look.
Well, imagine you can bring the satellite technology, right? Imagine that it works and you can plug it in somewhere, and then just letting them play with it. Mm-hmm. Like, what would be their reaction? They would be like,
it would be about 10 seconds and then they would burn you at the stake for witchcraft.
Yeah. Okay, so let's not do that.
That's not my idea of a good time.
Okay.
But my point is like there's so much that we don't know in so many scenarios we haven't even thought of that would improve our lives in so many ways that again, like my primitive monkey brain I'm at step 1. And AI could be like a step 1,000. Let's fix this problem that I don't even know exists yet. Which
crazy. Yeah. All right. Let's see if we can take the sucker to the home stretch here.
Actually get better because of.
Yeah, we got about a minute, dude. Like this, I was like, I bet you this video is going to be over an hour long, and we're at 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 55 seconds.
Yeah.
And we're still not done.
Go, baby.
Let's go. Let's go.
About how many people's lives might actually get better because of this knowledge explosion. And this is just one example of what we've already been able to do. As machine learning systems get better and better, people have extremely high hopes about what we might be able to use them for.
We have lots of problems in the world. Think about climate change, for example. Climate change will be solved to the degree it's solved by using techniques that are very complicated and very powerful that will have as their basis generative AI. And I think that we want that future.
After learning more about AI and this moment that we're in, I think I've figured out why it feels so confusing and so hard. We're living inside a trolley problem. Down one path is the status quo, life without AI. But with this incredible new tool, we can pull ourselves onto another path, one that could fundamentally change society. But we just don't know at what cost. Will AI give us what we ask for or what we actually want? In this video, we've only talked about the most extreme futures with AI. In other episodes, we're going to go deep into specific applications. We'll go full on huge if true into AI in music and news and robotics and climate and food and sports and more to explore how these tools might transform our world. It's easy to dismiss it as crazy when you hear someone say that AI might be
more more profound than fire or electricity.
And while the cynical side of my brain wants to say that it's probably true that most of the most ambitious AI efforts will likely fail, the more optimistic, huge if true side of my brain just keeps wondering, what if they actually work?
Shout out to Cleo for an incredible video, by the way.
Yeah.
Killed it.
Now
Super well done.
Production value as well. Yeah, she does I've seen a number of videos. She's really good. I enjoy them. There's one on artificial womb, which is really good.
Like?
Yes.
Subscribe.
And here's one for you, Z. There's one, she does one on quantum computers where she literally goes and sees a quantum computer. It's really
that's sick.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
That's sick.
Yeah.
So you know where I land with that sort of ending statement where she said, cynical part of my brain says that the wildest things are probably not true, but the big if true part of my brain says, what if they actually are? You know where I stand?
Yeah, I'd like to know, actually.
The biggest ideas we have pale in comparison with what's actually possible.
Oh, 100%. I agree with you 1,000%.
We're not thinking big enough.
We are confined by our imagination. So I think that when I worked at Olive Garden back in college, right, way back in the day, and in the kitchen you got your bread oven that you burn.
No way, I didn't know this at all.
Shut up.
It's for the audience.
Yeah. But anyway, the point there's a reason that I'm bringing this up. Damn it.
Sorry.
There's a Michelangelo quote because, Olive Garden, of course, the pinnacle of Italy.
It's basically as important as the Colosseum. Basically.
Yeah, shout out Uchi. Yeah. Anyway, the sign said, or the quote was, I'm sure I'm butchering it, but basically is, the biggest fear for most people is not that they set their goals too high and that they miss them, but they set their goals too low and they reach them. So I think that is what we are with AI right now, is that I think to your point, we are setting our ambitions way too low if we're like, you know what, we need self-driving cars. I mean, that's going to be cool, but that's coming. It's coming, right? I mean, I think that medicine, economic models, space technology, Mars, right? Like, global, climate change, like cancer, like there's just aging, as I point out, like there's just so many amazing things that we haven't even thought of yet that we could unlock with AI if we don't kill ourselves, which again, as I've said before, not zero chance.
Yeah. So here's where I take a turn for like a dark turn, right? Yeah. Is because in a base case scenario, the way humans work. Okay, so let me ask you this. If you could be happy 100% of the time, if there was a pill with 0 side effects that could make you happy 100% of the time, would you take it?
I mean, no, here's the thing though. You're breaking down the freaking Matrix thing there. It's like where, they made
just answer the question. Answer the question. If there was a pill that had 0 side effects and you would be happy 100% of the time, would you take it?
Probably not, because if you're happy 100% of the time, you're just like, you're not happy anymore. You're just like it's this basic thing.
So think about the highest highs you've ever had in your life, right? Yeah. When your child was born, right? When Liesl said yes.
Yeah.
When, I don't know. When you had that one burger.
Yes.
Just think about when you and I, do you remember Mill Street, bro? Like all those parties we had at Mill Street? Like, it was just so fun, right? That one time we were in your basement when I came up and you, me and Jameson, and was Kevin there too? No, Kevin wasn't there, was he?
Kevin's always there.
Yeah. He's always there? Was he there?
He's always there.
Was
he's
Kevin
lurking, man. He's creeping. Kevin.
I don't think Kevin was there.
Maybe
was
not.
Kevin there?
Yeah. So anyway, we come. Oh,
yeah. Anyway, just imagine those moments, right? So like, if you could just replicate those moments, that feeling of just pure bliss and happiness without any side effects, and that's how you feel all the time. I have a very hard time believing that there would be people out there that wouldn't do that. There's going to be exceptions. There's going to be like 20% of the population is not going to do that. But I feel like 80% of the population would become almost addicted to that world, because not doing that kind of sucks in sort of relation to that,
but
right?
To go dark, it's like that's the problem with like drugs or alcohol, right? Like
exactly.
The first time you like get drunk or whatever, it's like, oh my God, this is
so
amazing.
That's my point. And then what's stopping AI? Exactly. What's stopping AI from, like, we just stumbled upon a future where we're like you watch Black Mirror?
I mean, I a few episodes. I'm not a
few episodes.
Yeah.
So we're in a situation where, with the help of AI, we're in a world where we can live in a quote unquote reality that feels incredible 100% of the time, all the time. But that is like some sort of make-believe place with a freaking chip in our brain, and we're plugged into an IV, and it is totally the Matrix. Like, why isn't our future the Matrix?
It could be. I mean, I think there's a happy medium there. Like, I think it would be amazing if we could if AI could cure depression, for instance, right? Or,
of course it will.
Yeah, a mental health, or
it'll fix all those things.
Yeah, it fix all those things. I mean,
but keep going down the path. That's my point. Keep going down the path.
It's a slippery slope, right? Like, I mean, yeah, because then you get situations where your point where you're taking the blue pill or whatever, right? Or is it the
to me, that's the inevitable outcome for humanity.
Perhaps, but I mean, again, if you don't know any better, it might not. I mean, again, Matrix style, right? I mean, because think about it. If you would have told somebody, during the Black Plague that 1,000 years from now, or 800 years from now, whatever it is, you're going to have most people are going to have a house, and they're going to live to be 80 years old or whatever. All their children are probably going to live to adulthood. They're going to have food. They're going to do like you're crazy. Talk to their loved ones all over the world. They'd be like, oh my God, what is this? So
that's true.
Yeah, but that's all we know, here in America at least. So I mean, I just think it's your perspective at that point, But
I do think there's something to be said about, like, you talked about your monkey brain, and my like, I have a monkey. Everybody's got a freaking monkey brain, right? We all have primal wants and needs.
I'm mediocre intelligence at best, man. So I mean, I'm not.
If you're mediocre, Jesus Christ, I am like. But like, that's one of those things. Is like, why wouldn't AI optimize for our most primal wants and needs?
I don't think it can. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. No matter
how can you say that?
Well, no. Here's the thing. Like, it can, but no matter what we have, we're always going to want more. We're always you're always going to want to outcompete people. You're always.
If you can get laid 24/7 and you have infinite money, what else would you want?
But here's the thing: if I had infinite money, I'm not necessarily me, but a lot of people, I would argue, most of our billionaire friends, I have none of, would
all my friends are billionaires.
All of them, every one of them, except for me. But here's the thing: part of that thrill isn't the money. The money is a symptom of the overall effect, which is the power, and the fact that I am better
That's what I mean.
than everybody else, right?
That's what I mean. If you had infinite power at your disposal,
if you have infinite power, then everybody else doesn't have infinite power. You have infinite power because by definition, if you have infinite power, that means you have more than everybody else. Everybody can have infinite power. That means nobody has infinite power.
So what if you could live in an alternate world through advanced technology that replicates reality in your brain, where you are just playing your own version of your life, where you have infinite power?
Where you were just a billionaire. You did it all yourself. You pulled yourself over your bootstraps, and you were just amazing. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think we got.
Why wouldn't everybody do that? That's my point.
Yeah, I mean. Then it's the Matrix. It's the fucking Matrix, man. Like,
that's where we're going. Good night, everybody.
We're screwed. Good night. Thanks
no, but like honestly, like that's my biggest fear with AI. My biggest fear with AI is that in a benign scenario, in a scenario where literally it's the best outcome, we fall prey to our primal wants and needs.
No, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And that's it. And that's the ending. The ending is humans live on forever in their own little world that is optimized to make their primal brain as happy as possible 100% of the time. And then the AI will just do whatever it does.
So the Matrix.
Yeah.
Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sleep tonight.
Do you disagree?
Yeah, I do. And the reason is because ultimately there's only going to be a select few people that, that you control AI. Right. And I just don't.
For how long though?
I don't know. That's way past my understanding. I mean, maybe 100 years, I'll be dead, guaranteed.
Oh yeah, we'll all be dead. Yeah, but like if you continue further down the timeline, I feel like this result is inevitable. I would love to hear the alternative. I would, because that's where my head is at.
Extinction.
Boy, this took a turn for the worse. Neither of us can land. We can't land on a positive outcome.
No. So we have Matrix or Extinction. Those are our two. Those are our two. Oh man. Oh.
Some people do say we're summoning the demon with AI, and I think this is what they're talking about.
Like honestly, like whatever. Like people summon
the number of the beast.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's what I said earlier. Oh my God. IVF. We're summoning a demon. Oh no. We've got, the people are on a ventilator. We're summoning a demon. That's the rapture. That's what Satan.
So would you accept your Matrix outcome then if it came to that?
Yeah, it won't be better. Just don't take the damn red pill.
Oh man. Let us know in the comment section below what your outcome is for AI. Because both of us are struggling to come up with something that's positive right now. It sounds like.
I mean, it's all perspective, right? Like, I mean, as long as we don't kill it and wipe ourselves out, I think that's. I mean, I think
on the path there, it's going to be awesome. The path there is going to be awesome. Yeah.
I will say on a serious note, I do believe that we will have exponential growth within the next few decades to things that we haven't even envisioned yet because of AI.
I agree 100% with that. I think we've entered a new industrial revolution 2.0.
Yes.
I agree 100%.
More data gets exchanged in a day than like the first freaking, 10,000 years of humanity, right? Or more.
Yeah.
So I just think that, I mean, again, I don't think there's anything stopping it. We're going to, as we talked about, there's going to be, things we can slow down, but
yeah,
I mean, I think that we're going to see some amazing things as long as we don't wipe ourselves out.
Yeah, I agree. All right. I think we ended there. What do you think?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah. So, man, it's been a pleasure. Yeah, whatever.
Cheers.
What the hell, man? No.
We're waving goodbye to the audience. I don't even know how to do this.